Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a fantastic rack, it's balanced, and I've got a blank. The only fly in the ointment is the V, but I think there probably is a bingo here. I have novated with the blank as an N. I suspect there are a number of 7s and certainly a number of 8s. While my opponent is waiting to play, I think I'll just have a look to see if anything comes to mind. That would be cavorted through an R. Foveated through an E. Obviated through a B. Okay, let me put this back. I certainly do have a place for novated because it plays above the E of alone, but that's a play which doesn't get doubled, so it's just face value. So the hottest spot on the board, probably column 5, a double through the L. And I have violated in that spot. So that works. What possibly would score more would be a triple word square in column 8 with the V doubled. Let me just check the scoring on that. That would be 95. And 90 in column 5. I don't think it's worth the time looking for such a play, and violated is quite nice. Very few vowels next to premium squares, and the V is hampering the one that is. So violated for, well, 94, so even better. And that's pretty good. I was going to say I have C going, or would have C going through the right floater, but I'm one tile away from that. 5 vowels, always tricky. Quite a lot of 5 vowel 8s, but hard to spot. And I think it's because vowels lack character, the character's in the consonants, and with a 5 vowel 8 you've got very few consonants to conjure up candidate moves. So is there a 5 vowel 7 with this rack? I don't think so. So let me consider the floating consonants. How about the V? That doesn't look helpful. Not seeing anything with the N. How about the T? I have the Asian ending. Wow, great comeback by my opponent. So my lead, just 11 points. Anything with the T? Not that I can see. Now, through an M, I would have the egomania. No M's played. Can't see anything with the D. How about the R? Not seeing anything. So, how to sort the rack out? I guess Naoi would do that. Age, not a bad rack leave. And Naoi scores well, and it takes out a hottish spot. My opponent could get 40 or 50 if he stuck an F under the I. And this isn't giving too much away. So, Naoi for 20. Through an N, I would have tapeting. But none of the 3 N's played is available. And I'm not optimistic of bingos through any of the other floaters. But it's not a dreadful rack. And I have a slender lead. The V of violated is really holding up the development of the top left of the board. This A of unwary is pretty hot. If opponent's got a Z, there could be a 70-point play coming down. Maybe I could have given some thought to that last turn. J can also go there to good effect. So I think I shall go there if the opponent doesn't. My P can go there. So I have peg. And if the opponent does go there, I may have access to a parallel play. And the alternative scoring place, I guess, is parallel to violated at the bottom. Just wondering about whether it's worth looking for a longer word. Now, look at this, just 12 points for my opponent. He leaves this spot alone, so I'm going to go here. And what's the best I can do? It would be nice to sort out the T's, or play off one of them rather. But if I do that, I can't get rid of the G, and the G's not a great tile to have. So my candidate plays are, wow, what about papatee? I was considering PATTE. I didn't like that because of the hooks in column 15, but I don't think papatee takes any hooks at all. It scores 33 points, and although I don't like the G, this isn't a bad rack leave, so I'm going with this. Through an N, I would have elongate. I can't see any sevens. Very few floaters to consider. Nothing through the V and nothing, well, I guess the T is the other floater. Not seeing anything there. My G can go above ER, but nothing goes above tin. And O goes above par. So I do have tog in that spot, but it will leave a vowel heavy rack leave. I lead by 50. Interesting play by my opponent. He didn't score very much with Oi, so was he hanging on to a 5-tile powerhouse? Well, we'll find out later. But it's possible he had a bingo, but nowhere to play it. 30 points, a good score for my opponent. Tyne takes nothing in front. It does take an A at the end. So what do I have across here? I was considering GER. Do I have anything else to go in front of ER? I don't. So I am looking for plays which end OG. And only 19 points, or 21 for Tog, but that rack leave is terrible. Greek is good, but if I play in column 9, I'll be opening access to this triple word square. Now my thoughts here, I'm thinking of Goel rather than Go, because Goel stops opponent putting a high scoring tile on this double letter square and then getting it tripled. However, playing that L damages the rack leave. I think what I'll do, I'll keep the L on my rack. If opponent does play down column 8, he'll be providing at least 3 floaters. And this is quite a good 4-letter set, so maybe I will bingo. There is a bingo lane in column 3. Not a great one. 18 points, not bad, in conjunction with this rack leave. And I think the other point to make is the lack of alternative plays, but I haven't really considered column 3. My G can go in front of OE. So I could play GAE, 13 points. GAE, 16 points, so nearly as many as Go. This is a worse rack leave, however, only 3 O's to come, and it's a lot safer. The play in column 9 of Go provided very easy access to this triple word square, and GAE provides very little. If opponent bingos in row N, or even non-bingos, he will be providing access to row O. Is there anything I haven't considered? Just hope I haven't been too quick to discount a bingo with this rack. I'm going with this. Pretty horrendous. A long way from the bingo that I was hoping to have. I draw both remaining G's. I do have Woggle on my rack, but there's nowhere to play it. I could play Wiggle through the eye of Naoi, but it's not going to score very much, and it's going to invite a high-scoring play hooking onto the end of it. However, I still like my play of Gay. It means I'm not about to be on the receiving end of a big score in column 8. I could play Wog in row E, Opa and Gur, keeping Gelt. Grimmish Rackley, but not terrible. And 27 points, a decent score. Now, maybe this rack isn't as bad as I thought. I could play Glow and Greek. C's also front hook Reek. Now, Rhea just 6 points, which is good. Not many points. But Rhea takes an A in front, so maybe opponent is threatening a bingo. But I'm not too worried about a bingo in column 2, because any such bingo which hooks Rhea is going to be only face value and will open access to column 1. So what about playing Growl? Okay, I don't have the R. So Glow, keeping Get, 22 points. Glow takes an S, but it does take an S in last place for a bingo. O and W not massively useful as floaters, but more importantly this sorts the rack out and scores over 20 points. 12 minutes on my clock. Rhea takes a C as well as an A in front. Now I'm just wondering if Petty, having said it takes nothing, whether it takes an E, because if it does, I have Woggle for a big score. Fortunately with Void Challenge I can check that. No, it doesn't, so I don't think it does take any hooks. Now, what about the previous move I was thinking about, Wog? I think this has merit. It scores more, 27 points. It doesn't provide any floaters for a bingo. I'm retaining the G for Greek. I'm going with Wog. Great, I have Gelates, Legates, Telegas, Teagles, Sagittal. Anywhere to play any of them. Well, I have Sagittal in column 2 and Aria, and Sagittal in row N and Gaze. Opponent changes. Wow. So, what's best? Telegas also plays in column 2. 11 minutes on my clock, 44 tiles to come, including one blank. Could well be on my opponent's rack. 13 minutes on opponent's clock. Bingo lanes, row N and column 2 have the same issues in that they provide access to triple word squares. Row J is available, but barely. However, is there a bingo with this rack plus a T? I don't think so. Do I have anything through the I? Well, it's a Elegiast. And that doesn't work. So I think I'm going to go for Sagittal for 68. I draw Q and with the U, which is good. Rest of the rack not so great. So I don't have any Q plays on my rack. And not too many floating tiles to play through. I've got Guchin in row F. Doesn't score very much, but gets rid of the Q and the U. But can I do better? If I keep the Q, I need to keep the U as well. Do I have a play in column 7 with UNQU? Can't see such a play. Quaid not good with a U. Just looking at column 1, I actually have cubed at the top for quite a big score. It retains the Q without the U, but there are 2 U's to come, and there are floating I's in 3 spots on the board, so I'm not destined to be stuck with it. Now that spot's been taken by my opponent. And a good score for him, so my lead is just 80 odd points. Aria takes an M and a V in front, so I'm fairly restricted in terms of using this triple word square. Guchin's still available. The problem with that is that apart from the weak score, the rack leaves pretty grim. So, is there a Q play I'm missing? Cade is good. But it's this B and C together which is problematic. I don't have any 6-letter plays in column 1 at the bottom. I think maybe the thing to do is Guchin. However nice it is to have the Q with the U, this board isn't awash with spots for Q. And this does at least get rid of the Q with the U. I'm going with this. Wow, that's a dreadful pickup. Only 1 vowel. And just horrible. My lead's 100 points, but 1 bingo from my opponent, and that's going to shrink to almost nothing. That is shocking, and that's part of the problem with the clunkiness of the rack lead B, C, D, E from last turn. Okay, I have picked pretty much the worst possible draw with BFV. But almost any draw of 2 or 3 consonants was going to leave a tricky rack to deal with. So, should I change here? I want to change. Opponent's only got 26 points, so I do have a 70-point lead. I think the thing to do is just junk the crap. Just pausing in case there's, for example, a U that I could play a word like cubbed. Just can't see a way of burning a lot of tiles. So I'm changing. I keep the E. And I think I keep the C as well. That's much better. Not a bingo rack, but it's balanced, no duplicates, and quite a lot of scoring potential and synergy going on. I'm looking around to see if there's any good X spots. I know that G takes an E and an A in front, so row D available for a good score. Opa doesn't take anything that I've got. It does take a D, so maybe I should have retained a D last turn. Then I could have had maybe Dexy. I have Xylem on my rack, which plays in row J, turning over a lot of tiles and not providing very much. There could be an 8 with this rack, but not that I'm seeing. Now, do I have a 6 in column 1 at the bottom? No, I don't think so. Can't see any plays beginning EX. I'd quite like to get rid of the X. Now, what about EX? Do I have any UX plays? I have Mux. That's quite nice, and the rack leaves balanced with scoring potential. And the move gives nothing away. 10 minutes on opponent's clock, 7 on mine, still 28 tiles to come. Let me check the vowel situation. 10 vowels out of 35 tiles. So a vowel dry bag, and that's another reason in favour of playing Mux. But what if Mux is blocked? Well, nothing leaping to mind. And with that knowledge about the vowels, look, there's only one E to come. I'm very reluctant to play off this E. So if the vowel situation were different, I might feel differently about playing Xylem. As it is, I'd very much like to hang on to this E. Great, Mux remains available. Opponent burns the S, so he's probably got another one. And he also may be short on vowels. So Mux for 45. I pick up the V, and I pick up one of the vowels, which is also good. And my lead is, well, it's only 80 points. An opponent's burning the S cheaply suggests he could be close to a bingo. Now I have a C for Creek. I still don't have anything to go in front of Opa. Column or row A quite hot. R quite a useful opening tile, although less so with the shortage of E's. However, still one blank to come, and opponent has signalled that he may have quite a good rack. But the shortage of good vowels, 2 A's, 1 E and 2 I's, may mean he's adrift from a bingo. And I'm quite well placed to respond to a bingo with this rack. Not that I can see anything massive on the board at the moment, but any bingo played by my opponent is likely to create opportunities for parallel plays. So at the moment I've seen pretty much nothing. Well, I could play Cly, that's quite nice. Hangs on to my vowels. And it does provide access to this triple word square, but that might benefit me more than my opponent. if he's hankering after a bingo, because by playing Cly, I would be retaining enough vowels for a vowel V play. Scythe is also good, but I don't want to stick that E out in the open, or indeed to play it. I have Civil. Okay, I think that's also problematic. Wow, opponent blocks bingo lanes. Pretty good for me. So I could play Vi up the top here. 24 points. Clyde 25, I think I prefer this. Or do I? 6 minutes on my clock. Clyde does provide access to this triple word square, and there are bingo lanes on the board. Do I have a play beginning E? Not that I can see. I don't think, well, I'm just wondering how Civvy is spelt. It's either double V or it's C-I-V-I-E, but I don't want to burn all of my vowels. Wow, an opponent burns the last E. Gosh. So do I have anything other than Vi? 22 points. I am keeping an I and a Y. Doesn't feel good. I'm short on time. I mustn't drag this out. The floating eye of Naoi, useful for opponent to bingo. Sun takes a Y. I would like to play off the V. I have Vayli on my rack. I can't see anywhere to play that. Not a good position. Do I have something in column 1? I don't think so. I'm thinking about playing Vi. It gives nothing away. I'm keeping the C for making creek, so I think this has merit. 24 points. Wow, I draw the final blank, or the second blank. I think Colify is good. And that plays. Wow, Colify and creek. I was not expecting to be sitting with a bingo, but I am. Could easily be blocked, but may not be. Can't see any other bingos with this rack. Can't see anything through the I. If it is blocked, I've still got a pretty good rack. I can play F, Y and F, taking out a bingo lane, scoring quite well. I've got a 100-point lead. Still 19 tiles to come, but no blanks and E's amongst them. If I do play Colify, I'll be opening a triple-triple lane, but I don't think it's a dangerous one with a Y in second place. I still don't have anything to go in front of Opa. And I'm just wondering if it is anything more than just the D. Nothing else that I'm confident about. 5 minutes on opponent's clock, so this is going to be quite a tight end to the game. Neither of us is leaving ourselves with much thinking time, and there's still a fifth of the tiles in the bag. Now, has opponent opened a new spot for Colify? Well, yes, he has. That's quite fortunate. So I have Cola 5 for 74. It may score more in column 9, but I'm not opening access to row O or providing any floaters. I'm going with this. Quite nice. I draw a vowel. I've got scoring tiles. So I'm looking at this O in Codify. My J can go above it, but I can't get it to score twice. However, what I can do is play job, hanging on to my vowel. I don't think break is good. Wow, nice bingo by my opponent. Just wondering if he would have had something had I played Colify. Who knows? Well, slightly unfortunate for my opponent because I now do have join. Do I have anything else? Well, I have nosh, but I think I'd like to get rid of the J, and this is going to score, well, 57 points. Dreadful final rack, but look at this, I am 150 points in front, so I'm assured of the win. I didn't spend too long looking for an alternative play to join, but just looking around now, there's nothing which stands out. So I can see what my opponent's got. Despite the vowel shortage, he's got a final rack with 3 of them on his rack, none on mine. He's got fucoid as a 6. Can't see anywhere to play that. So 27 points for my opponent. He's got QF and Fusi on his rack. Join blocks QF. Can he play Fusi or QF anywhere else? Not obviously so. So what do I have at the top here? Well, I have PHO. Which may take an S. 31 points. Yeah, I don't think there's anything fantastic I can do with my S. 2 minutes on my clock. I go through the 500 mark. I don't think I'm going out with BDD. So opponent's got the C for creep, but he doesn't actually have any plays at all apart from just playing off the C. And if he does that, I don't think he can go out with FIU. So he plays Cade for 7. He's got FIU. Is he going out with that? I don't think so. Opponent's play has provided nothing. So I'll play Dib. Bid takes an I after it, which I don't want to give to my opponent. So Dib for 6. Do I have 2 spots for my D? I have Add and I have Ed. So yes, I do. And just 30 seconds left for my opponent. But he's not going to go out, so I will get another play. So what's the best I can do with just the D? I've got DI for 3, I've got Pod for 6. Tined for 6. So where's opponent gone? Ut at M9. Okay. He's provided nothing. 2 minutes on my clock. Pod was the best I'd seen, but I hadn't exhausted the board. Well, I have now owled only 4 points, so Pod for 6. And the final score, 363 to my opponent, 527 to me, a winning margin of 164 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played alone, and that's great for me because I have violated, levolted and ovulated, also playable in the same column, and a ton of other bingos. Great comeback by my opponent with unwary. No bingo for me. I don't really like Adagio. What do I do? I play Neoi for 20, and I like that. The score pretty comparable, rack leave pretty comparable, and I'm taking out a hotspot. Wow, opponent's got a bingo here. He's got Rosier, nowhere for it. Plays Oi. And now I have this rack and I play Petty, which looks fine. My poor opponent, he had an unplayable bingo last turn, plays off just a couple of tiles and is then faced with this horror show. Plays Reek. My rack, no bingo. And I play Gay for 16. Yeah, keeping Loot. So is Loot 8 points better than E? I would say not. But what does Legato do to the board? Yeah, you see, Legato takes an R and an S at the end, and it opens up row O, so that's a demerit to it. So although Loat isn't 8 points or 7 points better than E, it is a few points better, and I'm happy with my play. An opponent does have R's and S's. Opponent plays Rear, and I have this horrible rack. And I play Wog for 27, keeping Gelt. And I could have played Gowl down here for 3 fewer points, slightly better rack lead, but providing access to triple word squares and providing floaters, so I prefer my play. Horrible rack for my opponent, no vowels. He changes, and that's fantastic because I have a choice of bingos. I9. Yep, Galates and Greek. Sticking an S in the middle of row O, so I prefer my play of Sagittal. Opponent plays Raise. Assay available at N2. Wow, tricky one to see. Now, this was a problematic rack. The best I could see was Guchin. Sank, I didn't consider that, but only 15 points. Interesting, I could have played Chin for 3 fewer points, keeping the U. Is BCDEU better than BCDE? Any vowel helps to deal with the clunkiness of BCD, so I think maybe that U does help the rack leave. Does it help it by 3 points? I don't know. It's quite a... There is some synergy going on there with Cub and Cube. I think that's a close one, but nothing huge. Bunst, N1. I don't really like opening up row O when I'm hanging onto the Q. Opponent plays U, and I have this horror show. I change, and I like changing. D10, Doper, Eager, keeping BBCF. BBCF might not be worth minus 26 points, but it's going to be worth minus a lot. Could be in the order of 20 points. If it's even close to 26, I think changing is preferable. Great rack for my opponent. 2 bingos available. He doesn't see them. Plays Sun. Yeah, so he did have an extra S. My rack. I have Mux for 45. That looks fine. Opponent has bathers, nowhere for it. Wow, and sunbathers is good. So that's not a playable. He plays A, and this was a rack I struggled with. I thought about playing civil, didn't like it. Thought about a number of these, didn't like them, and went for Vi, mainly on the grounds of keeping the board tight. Opponent plays Arb, and that's fantastic because I have Colify, also available, and Comfortably, which I didn't spot. And I prefer the 8-point sacrifice to avoid opening row O and providing all these floaters. And opponent's got a great rack, and that is a good find. It's a high probability word, but it's not easy to spot. I now have Join for 57, which looks best. Opponent plays Mould. I have Foes for 31. No outplay for my opponent. He plays Cade. And I play Dib for 6, which looks fine. Still no outplay for my opponent. He plays Oo and Ut. And finally Pod for 6 is best. So, fantastic game. Always good to get over 500 points. And always good to win with a winning margin of over 100 points. So, a rip-roaring victory and some nice bingos played. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.